Welcome to How to Few. It seems like it never ends, especially with this car. Made quite a few videos and did quite a few repairs that I didn't have the patience to make the videos for. I wanted to just keep moving quickly. And then of course when everything's done, I get the car to start one time and then the starter doesn't function anymore. So we're gonna now change the starter. So this is a Nissan Quest, Mercury Villager, and there's also some other engines that are like this, I think in the Nissan Pathfinder. And so hopefully you'll find this useful. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the new starter in the box so we can look at what screws and what kind of connections are involved, and then we'll go ahead and tell you what, I might go ahead and undo this battery right now while I'm sitting here. So that we don't have any accidental electrocutions. Just take off the negative cable. So now that's disconnected. So now I'm going to grab the new starter and take a look at that. Alright, so here's our new starter. By looking at the nose of it, I can see that there are two bolts that are going to be holding the starter in place. Most likely this is somewhere on the transmission. I haven't gotten down there yet. There is a plug that should be fairly easy to unplug and replace, and then there will be a positive hot lead that's going to run to this pole on the solenoid. Alright, time to get down below. There might be a ground screw or something that's going to hook up here. Looks like that's a connection. So I'm going to get down below now and see what it looks like underneath the car. Alright, funny story. So, as I'm reading the write-up that's with the starter, it says that if you replace the starter and it's still not working, that Nissans have a couple of relays. And I've only been able to find one. This one, it's called the inhibit relay. And as I operate the key switch, or have someone operate it, I could hear it clicking. So it appears that the relay is working, and then I hear clicking down at the solenoid. So I'm making an assumption here that the relay is working properly and that current is getting to the starter and it's just not turning. So we're going to go ahead and go forward with our plan to change the starter. I'm going to redisconnect the battery and try to get this cover back on, which was kind of difficult. Well, looks like it's going to go on pretty easy. Both sides on. Okay, down to the bottom. Okay, so it turns out the starter is not underneath the car, it's actually on top. So you probably already knew that. So I'm going to remove some of the items here, the air intake, air filter, the battery, just so that I can get a clear view in there to where the starter is. And I don't know, that's questionably going to make it easier or make it harder, but I'm going to get started. Alright, so some of those screws I removed were unnecessary. I'm going to go ahead and put some of those back before I forget where they go. The reason why I laid them around the engine compartment was so they'd be in close proximity to where they needed to be. But you don't need to see that. You could just see that the starter is located right here. So we have pretty good access to it now. We're going to undo the wiring, the 2 retaining bolts, and then remove it and put the new one in just a second. Alright, it's going to be a little difficult to see. There is an 8mm nut here that's holding on this wiring harness. Go ahead and remove that. We're going to go on here. Okay, this is a vent hose. Move that. Hopefully it'll stay. There's a 13 or ½ inch nut on this. Power connections are off. Alright, bottom one is loose. And I bet you won't believe it, but the ratchet is now locked in place. So let's see if we can get the top one with a wrench. Top one's loose too. Oh great, just did the wrong one. Alright, that's the end one of it here. original problem is still there, that the ratchet is stuck in there and actually holding the last bolt in. Alright, this was the other bolt. Now it should just lift out, unless I have some really bad luck. Alright, so while I have this open, I'm going to go ahead and vacuum some of this out because it's pretty dirty in here. Alright, quicker we go, quicker we'll be finished. Just to make it a little easier on me, I'm going to squirt the threads with a little WD-40, including my starter bolt. Just due to how difficult that long one was, I'm going to go ahead and thread it through so that it's in place once I get the starter down there. Give the top bolt a shot too. Alright, so it does look like the bottom one is not going to go in by hand all the way. So we'll switch back to ratchet. Alright, I believe the front one needed the wrench. I'm going to warn you, there's some very sharp surfaces here on the exhaust that are rusty. So you definitely want to be careful you don't slip, because more than getting busted knuckles, you will cut yourself and then either need a tetanus shot or have to check and see if you're up to date. Alright. We'll slide on. And it did. Alright, that electrical connection is complete. Problem there is the rubber boot's in the way. Alright, at last tightening there. I wasn't too happy with the way that new nut went on there. Maybe I stripped it, or maybe those threads are just cheap on that copper stud. I know copper's soft, but so I put the old nut behind it on there too and just gave it a little snug up, so that should be good. At this point, I honestly think I am going to put the battery in so as to give it a crank and see if it'll start. Now it's not going to run right because we got some of the pollution control and the sensors are not hooked up on that whole air intake thing. Alright, let's make sure we're clear. All the loose screws are gone. Tools are out of the way. Alright, let's see what happens. Winner, chicken dinner. Alright, gotta tell you, the only thing I don't like, you could probably hear, was that timing belt. The timing belt that was in there previously was rubbing. I saw evidence of that. Now I worry that the new one's rubbing. So, I don't care for that. But I'm not taking it apart. It will run like that until it stops running, and then we will address the issue. Alright, there's some bugs in this airflow sensor screen. I don't know if you can see it in there, so I'm going to restart the vacuum and just kind of suck them out. Alright, looking down here, I see that we forgot to reattach that 8mm nut with the wire. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that right now. on the back side, this little metal tube, make sure when you're taking it out. I forgot about it this time, but it's going back in. Alright, 2 hose clamps. Alright. Other than a few cosmetic things on the bottom of the engine, we are done. And maybe we should hook this back up. Now, we're done. Alright. Needless to say, I'll be glad to put these repairs behind me. This was a summertime project. I'm a teacher by day, so I was off for the summer and wanted to get this van back in good running shape so I could use it during the year. And so we changed motor mounts at some point. There was a new timing belt and water pump. That was a major job. I don't suggest you do anything like that on your own, because if those timing camshafts get off of their marks, then you could do some really serious damage to the engine. What else was changed? The oil was changed, starter was changed because that happened to go out during the repairs. All the belts and hoses. So quite a bit done. The whole thing probably cost less than 1 month's car note, so that's what I keep telling myself anyway. We're going to go take it for a test ride now, and hopefully you saw how to change the starter if that was your issue. I also mentioned a little bit about starter relays in case that's your issue. If it helped you in any way, please give me a thumbs up. You can hit the subscribe button if you have one of these cars, and then every time I'll do any work on it. It's the same on some other cars too, Mercury, Villager, Nissan Quest. But anyway, anytime I have anything to fix, I'll go ahead and put a video up, and maybe it'll be beneficial to you. Just saw something that wasn't hooked up. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.